Hi, I'm Diana Yoakley. I'm a peaceful parenting coach and mom of three, and I am delighted to give you the latest science backed research on child development, parenting, and to support you in showing up as the parent that you want to be. Welcome. Hi there. Welcome to the Delight in Parenting podcast. I'm so excited that you're here with me today. Today, I want to start with a story about one of my clients. My client started talking to me about doing full on yelling, the kind where afterwards she felt like the worst parent in the world. And here's the thing, this parent had been working with me for months. This parent understood child development. They know all about staying calm during meltdowns, yet there she was having her own adult tantrum when her child stood there looking confused and hurt. And when this parent called me, she was devastated. She said, Diana, she said, I teach my kindergarten class about big emotions every day. How am I supposed to help 25 kids regulate when I can't even regulate myself? If you've ever felt like this parent, like you're failing at this peaceful parenting thing, if you've ever wondered why you keep repeating the same reactive patterns, even though you know better, then this episode is for you. Because what I'm about to share with you is what I discovered when my client keeps getting triggered by her own child, the one missing piece that changes everything. So, in parenting, this story is not unique. And in fact, it's exactly what I hear from parents every single day. I know what I should do. I've read all the books. I understand that my child's behavior is communication. But in the moment, at the end of the day, when they're screaming or defying me or hitting their sibling, all that knowledge just disappears. And I react exactly like my parents did, the very thing I swore I'd never do. And if that sounds familiar, here's what's really happening in your brain during these moments. When your child pushes your buttons, your amygdala, that primitive part of your brain, which is the alarm system, doesn't care that you've read 17 parenting books. It doesn't care that you understand child development. All the amygdala knows is threat detected. And it floods your system with stress hormones that literally shut down your prefrontal cortex, the thinking part of your brain that is responsible for logical thinking and emotional regulation. This doesn't mean that you're weak. It doesn't mean you're a bad parent. You're human with a nervous system that's doing exactly what it's designed to do. But here's the kicker, and this is where most parenting advice gets it wrong. The problem isn't that you need more techniques. The problem isn't that you need to try harder to stay calm. The problem is what happens after you lose it. Any one of us, given a triggering situation, is going to get triggered and lose it. And it'll be really hard to pause and stop ourselves. But every single one of us experiences after the fact. So most of us go into what I call the shame spiral of doom. We beat ourselves up mercilessly. We replay the incident over and over, criticizing every word we said. We tell ourselves we're terrible parents, that we're damaging our children, and that we should have it all figured out by now. And here's the cruel irony. This self-attack actually makes it more likely that you'll do this again next time, that you'll lose it again next time. Because shame keeps your nervous system in a chronic state of fight or flight or freeze. And when you're already stressed about your last mistake, you have even less capacity to handle the next challenging moment. So, what's the missing piece? Well, it's something that most of us, 80% of us, never give ourselves. And in my upcoming self compassion summit, you're going to learn from 35 plus experts about this missing piece, and it's self compassion. And before you roll your eyes thinking that this is some touchy feely concept, let me tell you what the research shows about self compassion. Parents who practice self compassion are significantly more emotionally available to their children. They recover faster from parenting mistakes. They model resilience instead of perfectionism. And here's the big one, their children develop better emotional regulation skills. So if your child is struggling with difficult behavior, emotional dysregulation, or if you're struggling with emotional dysregulation, self compassion is a missing piece. Self-compassion has 3 components: mindfulness, common humanity, and self-kindness. Mindfulness is simply noticing what's happening without judgment. Instead of, I'm the worst mother ever, it's, wow, I'm really struggling right now. This is really hard. Common humanity is remembering that struggle is part of the human experience. Instead of, I'm the only one who loses it. It's every parent on the planet has moments like this. I'm not the only one. And self-kindness is treating yourself with the same warmth you'd offer a good friend. Instead of harsh self-criticism, it's, this is really hard and I'm doing my best. And soothing touch is one of the most effective ways to show kindness to ourselves. And here's what it looked like for my client. When I taught her this framework, everything shifted. The next time she got triggered with her child, instead of spiraling into shame, she took 3 deep breaths and said to herself, okay, you're really overwhelmed right now, and you're really triggered right now. Every parent loses it sometimes. I'm not the only one. What do I need right now to feel supported? And maybe it's a self-hug. Maybe it's some butterfly bilateral tapping. Maybe it's shaking out your hands. Maybe it's a kind word to yourself. Oh, I'm so sorry. This feels really, really hard. Maybe it's putting on a meditation for even 5 minutes. Maybe it's calling a friend. Whatever that is for you, try to notice what that is that you need when you ask yourself, what is it that I need right now? What support do I need right now? And it's going to be different things in different moments, but over time, you'll notice that there's like a toolbox of things that you generally tend to float towards that you need. And maybe these things are lacking on the front end as well, which is why you end up needing them on the back end. So that pause, that moment of self-compassion, and this can take 60 seconds after an incident happens, allowed my client to regulate her nervous system enough to make a repair with her son in a genuine way. Instead of a guilt-driven apology that put emotional responsibility on the child, she could take authentic accountability and reconnect because she was able to self-forgive. She was able to forgive herself and release the shame. It was like magic, she said. For the first time, I didn't spend 3 days beating myself up about it. I could actually learn from it and move forward. And this is exactly why I've brought together 35 experts, world-leading experts on parenting and self-compassion for the Self-Compassion for Peaceful Parenting Summit. Because I've realized that self-compassion isn't just a nice to have. It's the foundation that makes everything else possible for self-regulation, and then connection, and then coaching. You're going to hear from incredible experts like Dr. Laura Markham, who's my mentor and the founder of the Peaceful Parenting Approach, why self-regulation must come before you can help regulate your child. And Jamie Lynn Tatera, who is a mindful self-compassion teacher for kids and caregivers. And she's going to talk to us about how we break generational cycles of shame and reactivity. Emily Delworth, who's going to share somatic techniques that can stop a reactive episode in under 30 seconds. And Dr. Marcy Axness, teaching you how to reparent yourself while parenting your child. And here's what makes this different from other parenting summits. It's not about collecting more techniques to forget when you're triggered. This is about developing a new inner narrative, a new inner dialogue and capacity that allows you to actually be able to use those techniques that you've learned elsewhere when you need them the most. It's about learning to be your own best friend instead of your own worst critic. And really, it's about self-compassion, really is about reparenting yourself. It's showing up for yourself with the compassion, mindfulness, and common humanity that you needed during your own childhood that you didn't get. And now is your opportunity to reparent yourself. Every time you get triggered, you have an opportunity to show up for yourself like the parent that you need to calm that trigger. Because when you stop fighting with yourself, you naturally stop fighting with your child. So this summit is completely free. And It's going to be going on for 5 days, where you'll get access to 7 expert interviews per day that will completely shift how you think about parenting challenges. And you get access for 24 hours for free for each day. And then to make room for the next day, so that we cover 7 interviews per day, which I know is actually a lot. I was going to scale back and make it less interviews per day, but there's just so many amazing conversations I've had that I'm going to put them out there. And if you listen to the ones that you find are your favorites, your favorite experts, if you already know them, listen to those first to make sure you get through those. And then if you have extra time, try to catch the other ones. But don't make it a thing about perfectly listening to every single interview, because probably as a parent, you're not going to have time to listen to all of those. So I'm putting them out there so you have the diversity of these expert interviews, but pick and choose which ones work best for you. And if you really do want to go through all of them, you can always upgrade to the VIP pass and get lifetime access to these expert interviews. So I want you to know that you don't have to wait until you're perfect at self-compassion to register for the summit. In fact, the people who need this the most are the ones who think they don't deserve it. So if you're trying to pour from an empty cup, if you're exhausted from being your own worst critic, or if you want to model resilience instead of perfectionism for your children, then this summit is for you. And I have the link included here in the podcast. It's delightinparenting.com/self-compassion. And the truth is, your child does not need a perfect parent. They need a real one who can mess up, take responsibility, repair, and try again with love. And that parent, that's exactly who you already are. You just need to start treating yourself like you believe it. I'll see you at the summit.